Hello, everyone. We can give it just a couple more minutes for people to join. Let us know where you're tuning in from in the chat. Great to see who we've got and where you're listening in from. Yeah, London is very grey. Maybe not the same in Barcelona or Brazil. I'm loving it. Also Texas. Imagine that's nicer. Okay, we have a very global audience. I love it. All right, we will get started. But before I bring up the slides and start the presentation, I'll introduce myself. I'm Liam. I am the VP of Marketing here at Cognism. I'm joined by Joe. I'll let Joe and Monica both introduce themselves.
Hi, I'm Joe. I'm Cognism's Senior Content Manager, and I look after the SEO team here.
And my name is Monica, and I joined Cognism over 2 years ago as a SEO content manager, and I look after the organic visibility for Cognism.
Awesome. So thanks for registering to come and listen to us today. I don't know how you guys saw, but some of you may have seen from the LinkedIn post that we put out last week. But last year, we really looked to revolutionize and change our SEO strategy, and we moved to a money keyword strategy, which has reaped us great results over the last year. And as we know, like, SEO is a long-term game, and we've put in the time now. We've had that year of effort, and now we're starting to really reap those rewards. And that's something that we now want to shout about and share with everyone else to prove to this age-old question: is SEO dead? As people seem to love to band about online and in conversations. Obviously, we know it's not dead. I think it's much more interesting if you say something is dead online, because it gives you a following if saying something, at the extreme level. But we will indulge in the topic anyway and run into what we do for our money keywords strategy. So, is SEO dead? So, search is evolving, and there will be winners and losers. So, we are a big fan of Gaetano Donardi, who we work with and helped us and advised us on building out our money keywords strategy. And Gaetano points out that there are loads of sites out there that are doing super high volumes of AI generated content. And they might see short-term gains, but will likely in the long term take big hits. And smaller sites focused on long-tail, high-quality content will be safer. It's going to be harder to get traffic from very basic questions, things that what is lead generation, what is demand generation, and what is sales pipeline, as things get a lot more competitive. And Google's AI snapshot will provide fast answers to those very basic questions. So in 2024, content and SEO will be more about having long, in-depth, and long-tail questions. So it's not dead, but it is changing. And I think any way to cheat it or shortcut it is going to only end up hurting you in the long run. And what the content that we can provide as content writers, as humans, is going to have to become, better at answering complex questions, things that AI can't answer basically. And that's how SEO will progress and how we'll survive. But is it dead? Absolutely not. And with this, we have that, rumor changes to Google's UI. I mean, that conversational chat GPT-esque element that we're used to of conversational AI will appear sort of towards the top of the search engine. So you could, as Gaetano say, have 10 blue links will become actually 6 or 7, and above them you'll have an AI snapshot that answers your query. And you're potentially going to have carousels over the boxes, drop downs, maybe pulling through other content from YouTube and videos and things like that. So this time next year, we could actually have a very different search, a search engine results page and how it looks. And Google have taken kind of a firm stance on how they see AI, saying, if you see an AI as an essential way to help you produce content that's helpful and original, it might be useful to consider. If you see AI as an inexpensive way to gain search rankings, then no. Reaffirming that point that SEO they're not going to let you game it, and any sort of use of AI to game it is just a race to the bottom, and it's not going to reap you the rewards that you want. So, handing over to Monica, she'll discuss what arguments are people making for whether or not SEO is dead.
Yeah. So when I speak to people about SEO, the argument they often make is that Google's frequent updates will kill SEO, and especially with the search generative experience that it's testing in the US, we won't be able to see the SERP as we know it, so it will be very difficult to optimize for that. And another common argument that they make is that SEO is very difficult to attribute, and some companies find it difficult to justify spending money on it if they don't see whether it brings results or not. And if you move to the next slide, I'll see what's our take on all of those arguments. So yes, it's true. Google is launching algorithm updates, and last year they've launched 9, which is twice as many than the year before. So it's quite a lot, and it's difficult to keep up. But I think that it's just a way for Google to adapt to the new technology that's available to writers and content managers. I mean, AI writers, ChatGPT that scrapes the pages and produces content really fast. So what Google is trying to do with the updates is to reduce the amount of unhelpful content that started ranking on the SERP. And one more thing that I wanted to point out, that it's really difficult to understand what Google means by helpful content, because a lot of experts have provide conflicting advice. So for example, on one hand, we've got SEOs who say that it's okay to save money and save time and produce hundreds of pages with AI and get quick results really fast. Whereas a recent study, I think it was released in March, actually showed that Google's applied significant amounts of manual actions to sites that used AI to produce content. So that's really serious thing for a website if you got that manual action. So it's not good for rankings. So at Cognism, we actually play more of a defensive SEO game rather than reactive. It means that, for example, we focus more on creating content that is for the users, not for Google. So we try to produce high quality content, and this involves auditing the website and pruning the website, removing content that's outdated or provides little value. We update our content frequently to include thought leadership content, new resources, and things like that. So yeah, we've never had a massive drop in rankings in any of the Google's updates. So I think that's the way to move forward. And the next slide, please. Yeah, about SGE. So search generative experience is something that Google is testing just in some regions, but it causes a lot of discussions about what the future of the SERP will look like. Some people expect it to take over the SERP, and they one of the search engines land editor, Danny Goodwin, said came up with a new term, CHIRP, to describe that experience. But in my opinion, I think SGE's adoption is still quite limited because the phrase hasn't been used like widely. So following up on what Gitano said, I think that the most common use case for SGE, especially in our industry in B2B, is to answer top of the funnel questions like what is prospecting, let's say, right? So us focusing on creating bottom of the funnel content, which we call money keywords, means that we are less likely to be affected by SGE. Okay, and the last one, the attribution, SEO attribution. I think that when I started at Cognism 2 years ago, we didn't have like a good way to measure SEO content, and it's been a journey for us. When we decided to focus on the money keywords, it kind of forced us to come up with a way to attribute SEO content just to see whether it works or not. It's definitely harder to attribute than, for example, paid campaigns. But with the use of tools like HockeyStack, we use HockeyStack in-house, but like alternatives is Dream Data, for example. There are tools that help us attribute that. And with the trial and error throughout last year, we've managed to prove that the money keyword strategy is consistently bringing good results in terms of revenue and pipeline, and we're aiming to produce that content to lower CPL. Right. This leads us to the importance of surround sound strategy, but we'll talk about this a bit in a moment. Okay, back to you, Joe.
Sure, indeed. So yeah, we'll get into surround sound SEO later, but first of all, let's cycle back and take a look at what Cognism's old SEO strategy was like. So we would find top of funnel keywords. That would be keywords like prospecting, lead generation, and we'd build clusters of content around those. We'd also find high intent keywords, mainly based around our competitors. So for instance, Lusher Alternatives, Cognism versus ZoomInfo, and create pages based around those keywords that compare those tools. And the goal there was to grow brand awareness with the tofu pages while capturing demand with the high intent bofu pages. And if we go on to the next slide, then we'll see why we needed to change this strategy. So we'd succeeded in growing organic traffic by a lot. You can see the stat there in a year, but we noticed some things that needed to be fixed. So in the second half of 2022, we'd seen some traffic declines and we were experiencing more seasonal dips. So around summer, Christmas time, December time, we were seeing our organic traffic starting to fall away. And we were losing SERP rankings for some of those keywords as well. Our pages, we found they were good at bringing in audiences. So we were getting on average nearly 12,000 visitors a month, but the visitors didn't take action once they were there. So conversions were low. The ROI wasn't showing for our high intent pages, and that was a bad sign for us. And we'd never really had a proper thought out backlink strategy before. And we reckoned this was why our keyword rankings had declined. We'd basically done so well with on-page SEO that actually there was not so much that we could do in that area. We really had to start focusing on the off-page stuff as well, which we'd never really done before. Plus publishing new keyword clusters every month and every quarter had just simply become exhausting. We're a small team. There's only 4 of us working on SEO in Cognism, and we basically found that we had just too many pages to manage. So if we go on to the next slide. So yeah, this is the start of the money keyword concept. So we hired Gitano, who Leah mentioned earlier, who's a big SEO expert, and he reviewed our strategy and presented us with an idea, which was, what if we stopped publishing educational tofu content because we'd maxed out on that style of content, and what if we instead created content that converted? And that's the money keyword strategy in a nutshell. It's about focusing your resources on those high intent, the really highest intent keywords, the terms and phrases that bring people who are ready to buy to your site. And so the next question that follows on from that is, what is a money keyword? well, it's a keyword or phrase that someone types into Google when they want to buy a solution like Cognism. And it's actually sometimes easier to define them against what they're not. So keywords like demand generation don't count. It generates a lot of traffic, and it has done for us in the past, and it generates numerous backlinks, but it doesn't convert. People who search for demand generation, say, are unlikely to convert because they want information primarily. They're not actually looking to buy at that time. And let's go on to the next slide. And yeah, over to you, Monica, to tell us how we identified these money keywords.
Yeah. So when we started focusing on the money keywords, the first thing that I did was to look at the keywords that we already rank for, to see whether they fall into one of the categories that Gitano shared with us. You can see the table on the slide, which basically defines a money keyword. So anything that falls into gets a score number 3 can be defined as the money keyword, because what we were looking for is the business potential of a keyword. So I looked at the existing keywords that we ranked for. Please bear in mind that we already worked on a lot of SEO a year before, so we did have a lot of keywords that we already ranked for. We just needed to search for them. I remember that I looked at the assisted conversion rate for these keywords at that time. So it was like a helpful factor for me to decide whether something was had a good potential to become a money keyword. Can we go to the next slide? So basically we knew that money keywords were supposed to focus around the product that we have. It was supposed to be, a money keyword was supposed to be a solution to critical solution to someone's problem. So for example, when we one example of that kind of keyword is B2B contact data provider, because what Cognism is it is basically a content data provider. So we knew that this is like one of the keywords that we wanted to be found by. And as far as I remember, we did have a lot of these keywords already on our website. It was just about filling in the gaps with keywords that we didn't have. So it was, I remember the money keywords list was a list of money keywords that we already ranked for, and some new additions to that. And the next slide. Right. So with the keywords that we already ranked for, our job was to make sure that the keywords are top of the SERP. So we aimed at the top 3 positions. So this involved making sure and optimizing the pages for the right intent. Sometimes we needed to rewrite a page. So for example, we looked at what the current SERP looked like, just to match our content to what Google wanted, and we made sure that we ranked in the top 3. One of the examples is, for example, ZoomInfo alternatives page. In the past, we didn't use that page as an SEO page, so we needed to add specific type of content to make that page be visible on the SERP. And when we updated the pages, we looked at the intent. So looking at the intent means that we had to think like a customer. So anyone looking for ZoomInfo alternatives wanted to know a list of different options available for instead of ZoomInfo. So we decided to create a listicle that had like different options, I think 15 at least, and one of those options was Cognism. And this allowed us to kind of control the narrative about why Cognism is the best alternative for ZoomInfo, but at the same time, we had to present other options as well. Can we skip to the next slide? Right, publishing the content. Once we published the content, all of the money pages, we looked at the ways to optimize it for conversions. It was a very important step because we had to try out like different options. We A/B tested some layouts and some features just to make sure that the content, that the pages that get traffic allow users to convert and make it very easy for them to convert. So optimizing for conversions means like adding CTAs, experimenting with how the CTA looks like. We've tested, I think, 3 options. So we've picked basically the one that worked best. We included a demo form on some of those pages. We definitely focused on above the fold section, and the above the fold section is what you see when you land on a page. So I remember we worked on a new blog layout for this, because in the past we've had like a big image in the above the fold, which didn't make us any favors. So we decided to remove that and allow users to get to the information they need faster. And here is a snapshot of information that these updates increased demo requests by 266%, which is huge. So just to sum up, first we optimized for search engine. We wanted to rank really high, and we wanted to attract a lot of visitors, a lot of traffic. And then and the next stage was to optimize for conversions, which meant that we wanted users to convert, make it easy for them to convert and have access to all of the information that they need to convert. Okay, next slide. Here is an example of a B2B data page before conversion, before the CRO optimizations. So you can see the above the fold section. I think this is, you can see intro here, so it doesn't, it's just an intro. Like I'm not even sure if people read intros anymore. And the next slide is going to be after. Right, so after CRO work, we've got a demo form on the right-hand side and a quick summary of why to choose Cognism's B2B data. So we found this to be like really good for conversions. And the next slide. How did we optimizing for search? Right, so this is something that I've already discussed. Like when we had an existing keyword, and it didn't rank really high. First, we wanted to optimize it for search. So it was a lot of on-page optimizations, like looking at the title, at the search intent, at we also wanted to rank for featured snippets. So this is like people also ask questions and things like that. With some content, we rank with images as well. So this is also part of optimizing for search. And following these updates, the pages increased its position on Google SERP to 2, and its organic traffic by over 200%. So we're able to track all this with Ahrefs. with Ahrefs rank tracker, which tells us which we use to group our money keywords and then track the positions and the traffic that it gets. And the next slide. Right, direct dials page before optimizing it, and I think this is a very old. This is an old brand page as well, but again, this page didn't rank really well because it wasn't optimized for Google. And now, if we see another slide. This is just as an example of a better optimized title that basically helps us rank higher on the SERP. And the next slide. How did we identify money keywords optimizing for conversions? Right. Here are a few more examples of what we did to optimize for conversions. We ran a couple of tests on winter, which helped us understand what people were expecting from money pages. And it turned out that they needed to read case studies, they needed testimonials. So we've definitely included that. I think I've talked about all of this. Right. Just by adding case studies to a page, we managed to increase demo request by 6%. So this is this is something that actually we do on a lot of money pages because it just proves it proves the claims that we make about Cognism, and high intent users want to read about this. But another reason for including case studies is that we do want users to visit different pages on like when they land on a money page, we try to make it easy for them to visit different pages on our blog and increase page views for pages that otherwise wouldn't get a lot of organic traffic. Next slide, please. And here is a B2B sales tools page before updates. You can, and after with an example of a quote from a testimonial. So we've actually tested a few layouts for the testimonials and case studies and how to link them just to make it more user-friendly. Money keywords and backlinking. Joe, I think this is your slide.
Sure. Thanks, Monica. So, as I mentioned earlier, pre-money keywords, we were very focused on on-page SEO. But with the money keyword strategy, we knew we had to ace off-page as well. Optimizing on-page can only get you so far, and especially because we're dealing with competitive, high-intent keywords. So what did we do? Well, this was our process for driving backlinks. So once we had our list of money keywords, we identified those keywords that were in striking distance of Google's top 3 positions. We divided those keywords between the SEO team, so that's roughly 5 batches each. And then it was up to each team member to secure backlinks for their allotted keywords, and that was by a couple of strategies, which I'll go into in a minute. So we would do outreach, guest blogging, or publishing linkable content on the Cognism domain. And every quarter, we reviewed the progress of our target keywords. And if a keyword had reached the top 3, we swapped it out for ones that hadn't. And if we go on to the next slide, we'll get into some of the strategies I mentioned. So outreaching. So obviously that's a key part of any backlink strategy. So when we were outreaching for money keyword backlinks, we gave ourselves these guidelines to follow. So we were looking for sites with a domain authority of 60 plus, preferably non-promotional blog or content links. Those are the kind of links that we were after. preferably links to other SaaS B2B tech companies, because obviously, the relevance of a link is also important. Strictly no direct competitors. That's quite an easy one. No paid or sponsored links. No direct links to home pages. No rewrites of Cognism content allowed. We were looking just for natural link insertion in our existing content only. And we also said if we were doing link swaps that links must not be included in the blog or the page's opening paragraph, header, footer, sidebar, or conclusion. Again, that's all pretty standard stuff. No link stuffing, so max 1 link per sentence or paragraph. We use this website here called URL Void to check every link. And if it basically checks, if a website is safe to actually link to or link on, and if the link fails a check, then we wouldn't use it. And we reserve the right to turn down any link, obviously, if it matched one of our own keyword targets, or if the placement was on a page that we've earmarked as having no outbound links. So that's the outreaching side of it. And then the next slide, we'll go on some other things. So guest blogging we've got here. Our guest blogging strategy extends the backlink strategy. What we do is we seek out high domain authority websites in B2B and SaaS and try and get our blogs published on them. So an example, which is linked to in the slides, which you'll get after the show, that's an example of our most successful guest blog in 2023. We got quite a large number of backlinks on that blog, and that was a guest post that we published on Skills Success. And then the other strategy for backlinks is publishing linkable content. It seems like an obvious point, but if you want links, you want to publish content that people want to link to. So on the next page, you'll see an example of a blog we published, which is purely for backlink juice, which is the 25 must-know cold calling statistics, which obviously those stats, blogs, people link to them all the time. They're very popular. So that was a really popular one for us. And since we published this blog in October last year, it's earned 56 do follow backlinks organically. And I think Liam, it's over to you for the next bit.
Yeah. So tracking money keywords was a key thing for me and the team. And I think previously when we look at tracking SEO, the team is extremely focused on the organic growth and the keyword positions, and really, I suppose, focusing on the actual performance that they were doing at the SEO level, and then the traffic that then was being brought to the website. But there was the bit that was missing was that tied to business results. And then, so what we needed was a shift away to actually start thinking with more of a conversion mindset. And that actually now we want to figure out the best way to actually bring in the most conversions. And actually that might be sometimes not always correlated with traffic, but it's nearly always correlated with keyword positions. And it's just getting that whole mindset and moving so that the team is thinking from a top level of bringing in conversions and bringing in business. So money keyword reporting focuses on organic traffic growth and the keyword positions as before. So we're still tracking that metric, but it's not necessarily our North Star, although we know that our North Star is influenced by those two things. The number of demo requests generated by our pages, the number of deals our pages have created and won, and then pipeline also on a page by page basis, which we obviously do in terms of dollar value and the total number as well. And then we also look at then the number of assisted conversions where we can't always see the direct conversions. The main way that we are actually able to track the pages all the way down to pipeline and revenue is using Hockey Stack. So it's allowed us to create dashboards there where we can actually track when people based on their first touch onto the page, then whether they go on to convert later. And you can also, and what we're building out at the moment is a uniformed attribution model, so we can actually see exactly how they have moved through the website, starting from which SEO pages to then convert later down. And that means that we're able to strongly track, I suppose, the conversions and the deals that we've won from those pages and correlate it back to where they were in their keyword position. And the traffic that we've managed to grow to the pages at the same time and see that relationship. But I think that's the main thing, is that it's switching from a traffic mindset really to a conversion one.
I'll take on the tracking money keywords, the backlink side. So yeah, regarding backlinking, we measure performance as follows. So that's the traffic or ranking position growth for our target pages. It stands to reason that if you get more backlinks to a page or to a keyword, then that page should increase its rankings on Google SERP. Increases in domain authority or domain rating, I think as Ahrefs calls it. And that's a general overview of our website's quality. Total number of do follow backlinks per month and quarter, total number of referring domains per month and quarter, and the percentage of our backlink profile with high quality. And that's where we measure high quality backlinks as DR 60 plus backlinks, and that's a good marker of like the overall quality of your backlink profile. Like how many of those high quality backlinks have you actually secured?
And then over to some of the results. So you can see that we increased our page views by 72% on average, and an engagement time actually increased by 13.6% from 2022 to 2023. And that's obviously just where we're actually ranking better, and also the pages that we've created are significantly better in relevance for that intent and what people are looking to find. And then if we move on to other results from Google Search Console as well, you can see that the number, see the comparison in clicks and impressions from H1 in 2023 to H2, as we've slowly grown those up. And again, that comes entirely from the relevance of what we're building out, and the fact that we're actually delivering people exactly what they want on that search. And then when we look at hockey stick, we can see that last year our money keyword pages generated 832 demo requests that we could attribute, and that there were 242 deals totaling 3.2 million in pipeline, and ending in generating 441k in revenue, which is an amazing result. And we're still working on this whole strategy and building it out and perfecting it, and making and ensuring that we can track everything as well as we can. But as you can see, it's had an instant impact so far, and something that we can actually take back to the business and demonstrate what we're doing in like a dollar amount.
Cool. So let's tackle what's the future of money keywords. So yeah, we've already started looking into this. After all, you can only target a finite number of both of your keywords. And here are some of the strategies that we're using. So we mentioned it earlier, but there's this concept called surround sound SEO, and it's an off-page strategy, which is an extension of backlinking, just a lot more targeted. And surround sound SEO aims to dominate the SERP for your money keywords. So it's actually quite a simple process in some respects. You start by Googling your money keywords. So for example, B2B lead generation tools that we have here. And on the SERP, Cognism at the moment, or back then when I did the search, when I was putting the slides together, it had the second place. But if you look at all the other top 9 results, Cognism isn't mentioned in any of them, on any of those pages. So the next step then is to contact each website or the website owner, asking if they can add Cognism to their lists. And it's you have to realize that you're not going to get Cognism on every URL. It's not going to work all the time, but it's definitely worth trying. And if successful, you get the link juice from all those sites, and you also increase your brand awareness. And this is becoming even more critical in getting mentioned by AI tools like ChatGPT, Bard, etc. And that's only going to accelerate as that technology evolves over time. And that's an example that we have here of what I was mentioning. So this is the B2B lead generation tools SERP. So you can see Cognism's at the top there, but you've got all the other websites underneath. They don't mention Cognism, like the other best B2B lead generation tools. 25 must have B2B lead gen tools. Cognism's not on those pages. So the idea of surround sound is that you are mentioned on all of them, on all the pages in the SERP results. Monica, do you want to take, this is a really great example here. Do you want to take this one?
Yeah. So this is an example of 2 money keywords. One of them is B2B contact database, and the other is ZoomInfo competitors. So this is a result of optimizing a page for search engines. So in the first example, you can see Cognism ranks number 1 for that keyword. And on the second place is Caspar, our partner site. So this is how we managed to get that surround sound SEO effect. We rank for the same keyword with 2 domains. I realized that this is not always possible with majority of the pages. But if we scroll down, both our pages are mentioned in the featured snippet in People Also Ask. So this is the information that Google pulls from different pages. You can try to optimize to answer these questions, and this is what both of our domains did. And the other example, zoom in for competitors. On the very top, you can see another type of featured snippet that Google's introduced. It's basically lists different solutions based on how often that solution is mentioned on different domains. So, so to appear in this place, you'd have to ask other websites to mention your solution. Just because Cognism ranks has got that visibility on the SERP, we often get mentioned in different listicles organically, just because this is what we do and this is what we are known for. So that's one way, just to be included organically. And another way is to manually contact different website owners, what Joe said, and ask them to do it. But this is a great example of optimizing for search again, because not only Cognism is listed in that featured snippet, we also rank #1 and we appear in the 3 top People Also Ask questions. So a proud moment for all Cognism SEO team, just to be able to show that to you.
And then finally, what else is like next for us with money keywords? And that's part of it is obviously going back to what I was saying about ensuring that the North Star is really how the pages convert. So it's working that not only optimizing pages for search, but also optimizing them for conversions. And we sort of built out like a little checklist for ourselves to run through this. And there's definitely more that you can do to make ensure a page converts, but it means that we go back and reassess every page that we've created to make sure that we've maximized all opportunities for conversions. And that can be focusing on any of the content embeds that do we have any, what ones have we have got, how can we improve that, ensuring that we have like a good navigation and the page is easy to access, including the page layout and whether this is well formatted, like desktop and mobile, going through all the CTAs and testing those and ensuring and also like testing them against new CTAs and seeing if we can get any uplift or improvement there. Forms on the page and how we can improve those and whether we can test and improve the conversion rate on those. And then whether we can add anything else where we have technology that could potentially help the page convert, including how the chatbot appears on the page, or if we have any pop-ups as well, and where they would appear on the page, whether that would be at a certain scroll depth or an exit, for example. And then, again, in the same with page layout, making sure that the mobile template is as good as the desktop one. And that is us. I hope you guys found it all interesting, and we've got loads of time really to answer some questions. I know we had a few in the chat throughout, as well as some in the Q&A section. I know there's one there that Monica said that you said you were happy to answer, but how could you find websites? How could you find websites to build links with a DA of 60+ without paying for the link?
Yeah, so this was the question that I was asking myself at the start of us implementing the surround sound SEO strategy. It was like nearly impossible to do, but we decided not to pay for the links, and we've not paid a penny for any of them. So what I do is just send. First of all, you can reach out to content managers and other websites that you already know from, I don't know, different events or personally. So that's what I did. And then start to expand your connections basically on LinkedIn. I reach out to content managers, SEO managers with a short message on LinkedIn saying, hey, I think that we might build backlinks or think of a like alternative collaboration in terms of content. Let me know if you're interested. And when they are interested, when this is like one of the top priorities, we're able to come up with a solution that benefits as both. So, for example, they might link to our content, to our priority pages. We might get mentioned in one of the listicles, or we might agree on a guest post. But it just happens through LinkedIn and through mutual connections and personal relationships I have with other content managers. It was difficult at first, but now I have like a list of I don't know, 10 content managers that I work with, and it kind of helps me to achieve that kind of results.
Mm-hmm. I think the big thing is in the relationship building, and it's hard to build to begin with, and maybe a little bit out of the comfort zone to do essentially a bit of outbounding in your role. But I think the thing is, it's often mutually beneficial mutually beneficial for both of you to have that relationship in the end. And as your network grows, it only gets stronger and stronger and easier and easier.
Yeah, and I think that sometimes it doesn't have to be transactional from the first contact. So, for example, I've got a few. I secured a couple of backlinks to some of our partners, just like for free, or to our customers as well. If a tool is like really good, I can mention it organically. I don't have to get a backlink in return, but it just creates that mutual trust. And I think it's not so transactional from the start. I think that's important as well.
So another one here, I think we could quite quickly answer is, are published pieces more long form resources or landing pages made to convert? So I think you would have seen from some of the examples there, they're longer form. If we're looking at like competitive pages, we'll obviously do alternatives, versus, and comparisons, which will all built out into listicles, but there are converting opportunities in there, which are kind of as we've described. So it's longer form, but we have like that landing page element of the form at the top, for example, and the ability to be able to convert. And then we have quite a few different ones in the Q&A as well. Question here to both you and Joe, Monica and Joe. Do you have any ideas on how to generate keywords for a very ordinary business? For example, residential plumbing companies, it seems hard to come up with something very unique unless, of course, the keywords are very tied to our location.
And that sounds like a very local SEO thing. Yeah, I don't really have much experience in local SEO, I have to say. But I would say to start with, maybe just look at what some of your competitors are doing. Do some research on them and see what kind of keywords that they're targeting. Maybe there's some stuff you can steal there. But yeah, that's kind of like probably how I would start with that. But I know that there's local SEO is like a whole different world that I've never really engaged in, I have to say.
Yeah, I agree. Local SEO is something that you need to Google.
Awesome. And then we've got a question here. Did the increase in demo requests also show an increase in spam form fills? How do you control for poor quality leads? So I can answer that. The poor quality, it's hard with anything SEO related to and like organic search to really control the quality that comes in. You've really got to control that on the other side. So that's where our processes would kick in to control the leads of those. So we have lean data and a book it, which helps us find accounts, and then to the accounts that match that are named accounts in our system, those people will get an automatic chance to maybe book in with an account executive. The rest will go through a discovery call process who will qualify those leads out. We'll also route then based on like priority of those leads based on grading as well, and I'll be able to see who we've got grade A's, B's, D's, or C's, and then we'll be able to treat those leads differently. And yeah, it is of course you will get some leads that aren't of great quality for you. We have security things on the form that actually help protect us from complete obvious spam or bots, but in terms of quality, it's just everything that you then do on the other side, rather than trying to control what lands on the page in the first place. Let's see if there's any more. It's interesting. There's some interesting ones here, but like, do you have any suggestions for money keywords for fintech SaaS? I think it's very hard. It's mostly about honing in on both your queries such as alternatives, but exactly. The best way that I would think about it is start with competitors. Like that's probably your ultimate money keywords, right? And we're in a really competitive landscape, so that wins for us straight away. There's a lot of room and stuff that we can do there. We've got a lot of competitors, and there's a lot of search volume between all of them. And data is obviously something that people really, it's like almost a commodity now. People like lots of people searching and looking to buy for it. So I'd start with competitors. And then for us, like, I suppose there are those things where, depending on what your SaaS product solves, for us, for example, there is those then really strong intent ones that are like buy B2B data. And I don't know, maybe it's fintech and it's like know your customer, right? That's a know your customer tool. Then you would be able to focus on know your customer SaaS products, or like if like any sort of direct search where someone's almost looking for, or like best know your customer tools. That's where I would start listing out those sort of things where people are actually now they're searching with the intent because they're in market. So that's what I would do. And obviously without understanding the product or market, it's hard to advise entirely, but I'd definitely start with competitors. I don't know if Joe or Monica, you'd have anything more to add to that.
Yeah, I think just refer to the table that we've showed in the slides and just ask yourself, like, what is it that you do that is critical to solve your customer's problem, and start from there. Maybe you have like sales calls that you can listen to and get ideas from there. So look at the first row here. What is your product critical like solution for? What do you solve, and how do customers benefit from it? Like, what are the pain points, and how do you solve it? And how are you solving it better than competitors as well? What are your differentiators? I would start there.
And then we have another one, which was, at what stage did you find you were ready for a tool like Hockey Stack to complement your SEO efforts over traditional measurement methods? This is a really good question, and it is the right way to definitely think about buying a tool like Hockey Stack or Dream Data. I think we got to the point where we were tracking everything that we could. So we have a UTM. We have UTMs set up, first and last touch. We obviously have everything set up on the form. We are tracking assisted conversions using GA4 and like pushing those into a like a data studio. And when we say assisted conversions, we were just then tracking whether they landed on any if they landed on that page before they converted, and that could have happened in any order. So the thing about that, assisted conversions give you some idea of like the traffic to that page, and then when they go on to convert, but it's less directional. Obviously, you could have an increase in assisted conversions, but it wouldn't necessarily mean an increase in conversions, just because it just could have mean they're looking at more pages on your website. But the point being is we set up all these other ways of trying to measure and track our results first, and then we moved to something like Hockey Stack, where we knew we could get extra granularity. So in that, I think, yeah, you want to basically have all your basics right, and then you can move on to getting something else. Because otherwise what will happen is you'll get a tool like Hockey Stack and you won't utilize it properly because you wouldn't have actually we've gone through the process of thinking about what you're actually trying to measure and what value it's going to bring. With the list of qualifying factors for a potential good link, were you applying these before outreach or once the link had been offered? That's a good one for you, Joe.
That's always before, yeah. I'm always really upfront with like other content managers and backlink people that these are my requirements, these are our requirements. Try and get me a backlink that fits these criteria. I think it's always just good to be upfront and honest with people about what you're looking for. And I think that's the best way to go about it. Yeah.
Okay, brilliant. I think we've gone through all of the questions there. So yeah, thank you so much everyone for attending and staying through right to the end. Thanks for, if you've got any questions, please do reach out to us on LinkedIn. Is probably the best place, and we'll be happy to help and happy to share more of what we've been working on if it's definitely been helpful to you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, everyone. Bye-bye.
Thank you.